was not real.
It's the proof, if anyone needed it, Virginia was telling the truth all along. Proof too that in their denials about this photo, Maxwell and Andrew were lying. The bittersweet revelation comes too late for Virginia, who last year took her life on her property an hour north of Perth. Fellow survivor Jenna Lisa Jones is devastated. Her friend is not here to witness the global reckoning Virginia was long fighting for. How do you feel about that? Virginia's truth being exposed in that way?
I wish she was here to see that. I know that would mean so much to her. She fought so hard, and if they would have just believed her from the beginning. She's been saying it.
For many survivors, these files represent the only public accountability left. But they're also deeply flawed, failing to identify Epstein's co-conspirators while inexplicably naming many of the victims. Do you feel honoured or let down by the release of the Epstein files?
Let down completely. Honored for them to run us through the mud again. There's been over 40 minors, unredacted, with their names, addresses, identifying information, some as far as social security numbers. That was a straight slap in the face to the survivors.
It was a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did.
These failings of the Epstein files amplify the tragedy that for 2 decades, the institutions tasked with oversight, from law enforcement to both sides of politics, have spent more energy managing the fallout than delivering justice.
And I'm sure many of you, when you read that alleged FBI report, probably thought to yourself, wow, this really cracks our narrative that we've been trying to push about this president for many years. So we're moving on from that.
But the American public is not ready to move on. The survivors are not going to move on, and I'm not going to move on until we see some men perp walked to prison.
This is a criminal operation that went on for years, and it could not have happened if Epstein was just on his own.
The Jeffrey Epstein saga is not about one man. It is about a society that let him get away with treating young women as disposable people. From working-class Brooklyn to the upper reaches of global power, Jeffrey Epstein's trajectory exposed a world that doesn't just tolerate predators, it protects them. What do you think the Epstein files show about us, about humanity or lack of it?
I think the Epstein files are a mirror. If you've learned all of this about what we know now from the Epstein files, and you're still dispassionate or want to move on or don't care, it means you're not willing to take up for the weakest people in our society. If you won't take up for a 14-year-old girl who's being sexually abused, if you won't take up for that person, when we're showing you this happened, what are you made of?
I worry that they're not even gonna have to answer for any of this. And that's just heartbreaking. It never goes away. It haunts you and it sneaks up on you in the worst ways. There shouldn't be so much of the shame that we carry. This shame is not for us to carry, it's for them to carry.